¿Qué pasó, mi gente, otra vez? It's MarTep25. I already did the video on the Eastern Conference. Now I'm going to do the Western Conference. So this is how I see, kind of things shaping out currently. I mean, this is what's happening right now. So you have the Golden State Warriors at first. Then it's the Denver Nuggets, the Thunder, the Trailblazers, the Rockets, the Jazz, the Spurs, the Clippers, and that's what rounds out the top 8 right now. Then you have the Kings, the Lakers, the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, and the Suns. Now, right now, I think the Suns are pretty much going to stay last place in the conference. I don't see them doing anything major. DeAndre Ayton's been playing well. Booker hasn't been playing up to expectations, but, all around, I don't think this team is that good to begin with. So we'll see what happens. But they're definitely in the Zion Williamson sweepstakes, even though I don't see why they would go for him when they have DeAndre Ayton. But who knows? Hopefully it doesn't turn into a Dennis Smith Jr. situation again where they get rid of their player in the second year. But yeah, I am a little bit bitter about that still because I think they could have handled that way better. And whether you think Dennis Smith Jr. was, partly to blame on this, I mean, that's up to you, but we always give the players shit, but we never give the organizations any crap. So whatever, you could say it's a problem on both sides. I'm gonna digress and continue on this. So yeah, the Suns are gonna be a lottery team. The Grizzlies are gonna be the same boat, but they're probably not gonna be as high of a lottery team because of the fact that they still had Gasol for the majority of the season until now. They just traded him to the Raptors. So yeah, they're pretty much bottoming out. So we're gonna see what happens in the offseason for them. If they trade Mike Conley for a higher pick or something, whatever the case may be. And then you have the Pelicans. That's gonna be a spicy situation with Anthony Davis. He's sitting out because of a shoulder injury, and whether that's a legitimate injury or not. And I'm not going to sit here and be like Skip Bayless, who says that players fake injury, which is kind of fucked, an injury is an injury. They were saying it wasn't serious, but it still might be the reason that he sits out the rest of the season. So we're going to see how that plays out, but I don't see Anthony Davis playing another game for the Pelicans at this point. And they just fired Demps from the Pelicans. And that seems a little sketch. That might bode into how things turn out in the offseason for the Pelicans and Anthony Davis. But I won't say anything until we get to that crossroad. Now, my team, the Dallas Mavericks. I'm a little biased. Of course, I always want my Mavericks to be in the playoffs and at least have a shot. Especially for Dirk Nowitzki, it being his final year. In the last video with the East, I was like, I don't see, an aged, D. Wade, making the playoffs, but I could be wrong. I mean, and I definitely don't see an aged Dirk Nowitzki doing anything for the Mavericks. I mean, it's whatever you may think, it is definitely his last year. People say, oh, he's probably going to play one more year, but no, guys. He's too slow. I mean, sometimes he makes some really nice shots, but that's it, guys. And if he decides to play one more season, I don't think I would like that. As much as I love Dirk Nowitzki, I just don't think he should do it. I think he should be done. Because, I mean, despite D. Wade being a little aged, he's definitely putting up better numbers than Dirk, obviously. I mean, of course, you could say, well, that's because Dirk sat out most of a good amount of the beginning of the season. It's I get it, but I feel even then, Dirk would not have been putting up as good of numbers as D. Wade is. So, there's that. I hope the Mavericks make a push to help Dirk get one more shot, though. It would be nice. But I think the only way that happens is if Luka Doncic, he doesn't take so many three-pointers. I mean, he's getting better, and he's decent. But I feel if he takes less of those shots and tries to, drive it into the basket, a little bit more. And I know people are all like, "Oh, well, the mid-range game is not as good of a shot. It's not a high percentage shot." But I don't understand that, because since when the hell is a mid-range shot not as high percentage as a three-pointer? A three-pointer is a farther shot, so that makes it automatically a harder shot. So I think if Luka just shoots a little bit more mid-range, I think they might have a better shot. And I'm not putting it solely on him. His teammates have to step up too. Like Tim Hardaway Jr. is doing okay. He could do better, but he's doing okay. And of course, like the entire team around him has to gel. But ultimately, I just don't see them making the playoffs. I think the best they get is like either 9th or 10th place in the conference. That's the best I see them getting. Same thing with the Timberwolves. I mean, they could also make a push for the playoffs if they play their cards right, but I think the thing that's keeping them back is Andrew Wiggins. A lot of YouTubers have already made videos on that. B-Souls, Legend of Winning, Dom2K, all those guys. They've already made videos explaining how Wiggins has not turned out the way that he should have been. So, yeah. Yeah, Andrew Wiggins he's holding this team back, and who knows, maybe he just needs a change of scenery. So we'll see what happens in the offseason with him, if he's traded. Maybe D. Rose doesn't stay there. He's been providing some pretty good offense off the bench. But yeah, I don't see them making the playoffs at this point. I think they just might have to rebuild around Karl-Anthony Towns. The Lakers, the Kings, and the Clippers. That's an interesting situation there. I think ultimately the Kings have the best chance of making the playoffs over the Lakers and the Clippers. And people are going to probably give me shit for this. It's like, oh, well, what about the Lakers? LeBron James is there. They always have a chance with LeBron. And here's the thing, guys. We could sit here and talk shit as much as we want about the Cleveland Cavaliers team that he left. And don't get me wrong, obviously they're not doing as well without him. But that's the thing. Do you think this team would be doing as well without LeBron either? Like this Lakers team? They lost quite a few games without him already when he was sitting out with groin injury. And they've lost some games even with him in there. So do you think they have the best chance of making it out of this, out into the playoffs at this point? I personally don't. But LeBron James has proven us wrong before. He led that Cavs team last year to the finals. But I don't know. I just don't see it this time around. And I'm probably going to be proven wrong, but we'll see. The Clippers at this point, they're letting themselves drop down. They're trying to create cap space, trying to create themselves a chance to just rebuild and get some free agents. Ooh. Excuse me. But yeah, as far as the Clippers, yeah, they're pretty much out of that. Like, the only two teams in this would be the Kings and the Lakers, but the Kings, I think, have a more legitimate chance. I think that team is gelled a little bit better. They, Buddy Hield and Josh Jackson have been playing really well. No, wow, Josh Jackson, what the hell? No, that's the Suns. De'Aaron Fox. There we go. Wow, you all are probably going to give me crap for that one. De'Aaron Fox. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield have been playing really well. They just added Harrison Barnes. But the thing is, look, I like how Harrison Barnes has done a lot for the organization, but as of this late, he was very inconsistent. And that's why they had to move on from him. And I think that inconsistency might harm the Kings' chances if they're going to make a push for the playoffs. If Harrison Barnes can be more consistent and not shoot as much, I think the Kings have a chance. But I think, yeah, I think they have a better chance than the Lakers right now, because they're psyched out with the whole Anthony Davis situation. They don't have a healthy squad. I mean, they added Reggie Bullock and Mike Muscala. I've been forgetting his name for a little bit, but yeah, Mike Muscala. So at least provides a little bit of shooting. But who's to say that that's going to be enough to get them into the playoffs? You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when Lonzo Ball comes back. And also, because here's the thing. I think Lonzo Ball and Rajon Rondo are too similar of players. You know, Rajon Rondo and Lonzo Ball, they don't shoot very well. Granted, Rajon Rondo, I'd take him over Ball right now as a shooter. And overall, I think Rajon Rondo has enough of experience. But either way, I think those players are too similar, and I don't think it's going to be enough to get him into the playoffs. But of course, LeBron James always wills everybody in there. But again, ultimately, if anything, the Kings are going to be the 8th seed. Like, and if you're going to level with me, it's either going to be the Kings or the Lakers, but I think ultimately it's the Kings. So I'm going to move on from this. And I'll let you comments to let me know what you think in the comments. The San Antonio Spurs. You know, I think they could remain at the 7th seed or be the 6th seed. Because when you have Greg Popovich at the helm, you know, you're a pretty well-led team. So I think the Spurs are going to be the 6th seed. And the Jazz, they're a heck of a team. You know, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert have been playing really well. Ricky Rubio's been, you know, he's been balling out with the Jazz. Definitely better than he was when he was with the Timberwolves. And then you also have Joe Ingles as a deep threat, so that helps. So yeah, this is a pretty good team. They're kind of neck and neck, so I mean, either one of them is probably going to be 6th or 7th. And people are going to be like, oh, well, you're a Mavs fan, that's why you hate on the Spurs. But the thing is, as of right now, I just don't think the Spurs team is going to be as good as the Rockets, the Trailblazers, or the Thunder. Look, Greg Popovich is a great coach, but a coach can only do so much. You know, the players have to go out. And I'm not taking anything away from LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm not taking anything away from, you know, DeMar DeRozan. They're good players. But I just don't see them being top 5. I think they're 6th or 7th at best. The Rockets, they could probably be the 4th or 5th. You know, James Harden has been really carrying this team. I know I hate on him a little bit because I think he travels a lot. And I'm going to say it, like, that backstep, I'm like, you know, I just don't think that's legal. People are going to dispute that and argue about that, but again, I don't think that's legal. And I know Luka Doncic does it too, and I don't think he should be doing that. I think, you know, sometimes the backs, you know, that step back is going to be, you know, deadly if done right. I mean, and I'm saying James Harden always travels on it, but there's been quite a few times more than not that he has. And I think the league has to stop that. Like, you shouldn't, I know you're trying to create free movement of the game and make it more entertaining, but you shouldn't do it at the expense of the integrity of the sport. You know, you can't be breaking rules just to make things entertaining. That's stupid. But I digress. I think the Rockets, you know, have been playing well. Chris Paul's back, so it's been helping him out a lot, helping James Harden out a lot. And then you also have Capella out still, but I'm pretty sure once he steps back into the plate, I think they have a chance to make a push for the 4th, maybe even the 3rd, but I think that's a stretch. And I'll kind of explain why. But the Blazers, again, them and the Rockets are kind of neck and neck on this one right now. And, you know, the Western Conference is a very tough conference, so, I mean, anything can happen at this point. But the Blazers have been playing pretty well. They've just beat the Golden State Warriors. And, yeah, it's because the Blazers have always been that middle-of-the-pack team. They always are very good, but they're just never good enough to completely win it all. But we'll see. They're definitely that 4th and 5th spot. Because, again, I think with Oklahoma City Thunder at 3rd, I think that's a perfect spot for them, and I think that's where they're going to stay. Because right now, Paul George has been balling out on both sides of the ball. He's pretty much a lock for that Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's gonna win it, and I'm happy for him. You know, coming from that horrible injury he had to what he's doing now, that's awesome. And I'm very happy for him. I'm also very happy for Russell Westbrook because I think he's finally understood that he needs to be a better team player overall. And not saying that he hasn't, because, you know, people will say, oh, he's just stat padding. He's just stat padding. It's like, okay, dude, but an assist is an assist. A pass is a pass. When you make that pass to the player for an assist, that's being a team player. And when you do that 10 plus times, that's pretty impressive, and that's pretty good team play, in my opinion. You know, we give Chris Paul all this credit for, you know, passing the ball so much, but not Russell Westbrook? I don't know. But here's the thing. He has definitely not shot as much in this stretch of games, and it's helped the team win a little bit more. He realizes, I can't be putting everything on my shoulders, because the more I try to put everything on my shoulders, the more I try to take errant shots. And, you know, he's understanding, and that's great. And that's why I think they stay at the 3rd seed, because I think Russell Westbrook is going to maintain this style of play and, you know, defer a little bit more to Paul George to make the shots, you know, and some other players who are, I guess, having the hot hand. And, you know, Steven Adams as the center, you know, that guy's amazing. He's a heck of a player. So yeah, I think the Thunder are staying that 3rd seed. The Nuggets and Warriors. You know, it's going to be interesting to see who finishes last. I mean, it might end up like last year where another team ended up being first over the Warriors, and it doesn't even matter. The Warriors make it to the finals anyway. But, you know, this Denver Nuggets team is really something, man. They've really defied all odds. And, you know, Jokic has been balling out, man. He's been putting up triple-doubles too, but for a guy that size to be doing that is pretty impressive. And, you know, Isaiah Thomas is back, and hopefully, you know, he provides a good spark off the bench, and I hope, you know, he does well. If this ends up with the Nuggets making the championship and Isaiah Thomas getting a ring, I'm going to be kind of happy for him. And, you know, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, they're pretenders. They're like the Atlanta Hawks. Well, who's to say, man? You know, this is the Western Conference, and for this team to be doing this well in the Western Conference, I don't think that's a pretender, guys. I really don't. And you could say what you want about that. But yeah, so you have the Warriors. Everybody knows what everybody thinks about the Warriors. You know, they have that that outlandish starting 5. But here's the thing, guys. And this might be a hot take, because everyone says, a hot take. If it's a hot take, it's bullshit. But here's the thing. I don't think that starting 5 is really that good. Because, what is his name? Fucking Draymond Green has been struggling. You know, point-wise, yeah, it's probably because he's deferring to other players to take the shots. But, yeah, like, point-wise, he has struggled mightily. He may be making a lot more passes, but I think he's the weak link in that starting 5. And, you know, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, they're amazing players. They're going to be the best shooters of all time, but there have been times they've been really off. Like, they've been having some really off nights. And even when this past game against the Trailblazers, like, Curry was on. Durant was on. But they still lost. I mean, and maybe it could be the fact that, you know, DeMarcus Cousins wasn't playing. But even then, you know, that's pretty ridiculous. When you have Klay Thompson struggling and Draymond Green struggling, you can't have that. Especially, I mean, they still have Andre Iguodala. They still have Sean Livingston. And, you know, Looney's pretty good defensively. But you can't rely on that the entire time. Like, what if DeMarcus Cousins goes out with an injury? Are you going to rely on that? I mean, obviously they relied on it last year and they did fine, but still. I think overall, there's still a chink in the armor for the Warriors. It's going to be an interesting playoffs. I mean, maybe I'm just spitballing. They're probably still going to make the finals, but they aren't as strong as most people think. I mean, and I know people are probably going to give me shit for that take, but Draymond Green is definitely the weakest link in that offense, in that that starting five. And we'll see what happens from there. There's still the rumors about KD leaving in the offseason. But who knows? Maybe they might do something different. So yeah. The way I see it, this is how it's going to be. It's going to be the Golden State Warriors at the first seed, the Denver Nuggets at the second, the Oklahoma City Thunder at third. Blazers fans are going to be pissed off at me on this one. The Rockets at fourth, the Blazers at fifth, the San Antonio Spurs at sixth, the Utah Jazz at seventh, and the Sacramento Kings at eighth. Sue me. I don't think the Lakers are going to make it. But you know what? It's called a prediction. I'm probably going to be wrong. But I just feel the Kings have a more rounded team. That's just how I see it currently. Anything could change, anything could happen. But anyhow, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm free to listen to what you have to say. Anyhow, suscríbete a mi canal, ponte un like y hasta luego, mi gente. Adiós. Paz.